So I want to get up to when you started doing concert promotion, but just before that, I want to see if you have any memories of hearing music at a young age, hearing it on the radio, hearing live music, whatever, anything that
Yeah.
comes to mind as early as you can go back and remember.
Okay.
Anything comes to your mind.
Okay. Should I start?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you. Rafi, this is your father, Art DLugoff. And my first memories of being interested in music, not the only ones, was when I went to synagogue, and also I went to a school, Flatbush Yeshiva. And we had a music teacher who used to travel around. He was a cantor and a composer. His name was Moshe Nathanson. And he would teach us songs, both Hebrew songs and songs that were used in synagogue. And I liked it, and I actually was a lay cantor, which meant that I used to sing on a Sabbath.
I'm sorry, can you tell me what age that would be?
I was then the age, I would say, about 11, 10, 11, 12, you know. I went to the school until the age of 13 when I was bar mitzvah. And this teacher was excellent. He was well known in the Jewish community in New York City, and he traveled around to all the various synagogues. At that time, it was not a big problem about going to Orthodox and to Reform and to conservative synagogues and other places.
Simultaneously?
No, we would go there separately to each one of the places, not simultaneously. But there was no.
I meant.
There was no antagonism.
Yeah.
Insofar as his, teaching. He also was a cantor at the Society for the Advancement of Judaism on West 86th Street.
All right.
Okay. Now I got to tell something about Moshe Nathanson. Believe it or not, and I didn't hear it until much later in life, was the one who brought Hava Nagila to the United States, and he is the one who wrote the words to it. The melody was a Hasidic melody, which was discovered, by a musical scholar in Israel, in Jerusalem. It wasn't Israel; it was Palestine, and it was a melody brought to this teacher Idelson by this Hasidic group called Gur, and they sang the melody, and that's the Hava Nagila Hava.
Okay.
Without the words. Anyway, they had what this teacher Idelson, where most Nathanson was a student, he was told first of all by the Gur Hasidim that it didn't need words, no lyrics. But when they left, a little afterwards, he had a contest, and he told the students that they write lyrics to this melody, and he would judge who would get the prize. And Moshe Nathanson won. And the story is he one day left for the United States, and Hava Nagila was born in the United States through Moshe Nathanson, my teacher.
Now, when you were doing you say you were a lay cantor?
Lay cantor means not professional.
Right. But did you learn the music from him singing it to you and you repeating it? Or a tape or a record?
Well, not only from him, but from people in the synagogue, cantors and other people who worked for the synagogue they taught me. And also, I listened to the prayers on Saturday morning, and I got to know them. And so I was able to go out on my own and conduct the service.
So, and you were doing all this stuff before your voice changed. You were still like a boy tenor?
I assume I was.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. And now to any further memories of other types of music after that your first impressions of maybe hearing swing bands on the radio or dances or anything like that?
I heard swing bands on the radio. I was familiar with Frank Sinatra, and I went to the Brooklyn Paramount and heard him play with a famous trumpeter. I thought it was
Harry James.
no, it was a black trumpeter. The name will come to me.
Okay.
I'll give it to you some other time. I thought it was Little Jazz,
Roy Eldridge.
Roy Eldridge, but it wasn't. It was another trumpeter, but I do remember that. And I used to hear swing bands at the Paramount, at the Brooklyn Paramount, and at the other theaters in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn.
I think he was only 8 years older than you. Is that correct?
Could be, I don't know exactly. But he did
born in
play at the Village Gate.
1916, I think he was born.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we talk about any...
Well, wait a minute. I also went, when I grew up, my high school years, I used to listen a lot on the radio to all sorts of popular music primarily, and I liked it. That was the main music that I listened to. I didn't hear much classical. I wasn't up to it at that time. I found out later on that when I got older, that the singles dances in Brooklyn, they had swing dancing, and but they had foxtrot music was done by one band, and they always used to add, when they could, a Latin band like Tito Puente and people like that.
So it was an early version of salsa meets jazz.
Well, yes, it was salsa. The Latin music was a very important part of the Jewish culture at that time, both in the mountains and the Catskills, and also in the New York area and possibly other areas. I'm sure it was, and the dances were not only foxtrot and swing, but they were rumba and mambo and cha-cha, and I learned all these things